Alright, as soon as I thought it could get bad enough, or crazy enough with the round of 8, it lived up to the hype and then some because everything that could have went wrong for Chase Elliott did go wrong, and he had no chance of making it to the championship four in Homestead pretty much. Like he finished 30th outside top 30 every time in that 3 race span, and the only way he was going to win is by going to Phoenix and winning, or ISM really, and he couldn't even do that because he wrecked out at the start of stage three. So that was unfortunate. But I gotta say that was he had some great runs. Looking at the positive, like he could have run real well from all three of those races, and just had problems in all three of them. Just unfortunate problems like the mechanical issue at Martinsville and Texas. Nice, and he wrecked both times. It was just it sucked. And not trying to be biased here, but as a Chase Elliott fan, it is kind of unfortunate, but just move on. But yeah, that's my little explanation of what Chase Elliott had to go through. As for the championship four, it's been set, and should we really be surprised as the championship fours? Not really, because they were four of the five best drivers all year long. So it doesn't really surprise me that they would be in the final four. Um, it does surprise me that there are three JGR cars in there because, as you can see right here, I did not have three JGR cars in my predictions. I had two. I knew two of them would make it. I just didn't know which two, and I figured, okay, Kyle Busch and Ham because they give me a lot of points, and not to mention if you look at to the left, the top four in the standings going into the playoffs were those four drivers: Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and Kevin Harvick. So obviously, there's no surprise those four are the ones left standing going to Homestead this weekend. Um, and going into the weekend, it's definitely going to be crazy. Considering there's three JGR cars in hunt for the title, trying to do this with Joe Gibbs. Uh, I will say though that if you look at the official grid again, I can say that Dahan has all the momentum in the world going for him right now. I don't care that he had a bad run at Texas that kind of derailed his race, that kind of derailed his chances almost because of him spinning out coming off the four in the PJ1 compound or whatever you want to call it, and then damn it, and then the splitter just dug into the grass in the infield grass. I don't care because the fact that he was able to dominate at ISM Raceway gives him all the momentum in the world to go out to Homestead and do exactly what Kevin Hart did in 2014, win the final race of the season to win the championship. That's really I mean, sometimes it does seem like gimmick sometimes because all you have to do is make it to the round of eight, win a race in the round of eight, and then win Homestead, and then you're good. You win a championship. Um, on the other hand, though, it is hard to get there because Dayhound had a huge points gap to fourth place when the round of eight started. The problem is he had that issue at Texas, and that set him back 20 points. So he basically was in a must-win situation going to ISM. He wasn't exactly he could have given a lot more stage points than Kyle Busch and Joe Logano and made it in just fine. But uh, the circumstances showed that after the first two stages of the race, basically had to go out and win this thing because there was no way he was going to make enough points unless one or two, either Kyle Busch or Joe Logano, had a major mechanical issue or whatever. And for Joe Logano, I don't. It's hard to say that he had he just didn't have it at the end. Something happened to his car, where the car just wasn't as good as it was in the first two stages. And let me tell you that 22 looked like it was gonna make the Homestead. And in the final stage, it just something was off with that thing. That 22 Ford. I don't know what it was, but it definitely did not look like the 22 Ford I was seeing the first half of the race. Um, so obviously I'm talking a lot about ISM. Um, if we go back to Martinsville, Truex pretty much dominated that race and just flat out destroyed the field in that race, and it was not the best sight to behold. But yeah, it happened. Truex was definitely definitely like is getting better at short tracks now. He got his first short track win at Richmond earlier in the year, and he's gonna get some more going his way if he can keep racing like this the way he has. I mean, the JGR code obviously is a big help, but it's not like that's the only uh, thing that going for him. He's a great driver in his own right, so he's finally found that. He's finally found the spot where he wants to be at for the rest of his career, I think. Uh, Texas, Karen Harvick pretty much dominated the final stage and just made some like cakewalk as for the last 3 years now. So that's definitely it definitely feels like Texas is one of those tracks that Karen Harvick's definitely getting good at, especially with the new layout it has. The layout has with the 20-degree the 20-degree banking and 1 and 2, which they had since 2017 with the first year Kevin Harvick actually won that playoff race. And I don't think, and I'm pretty sure like before that he hadn't like done as good as he would have liked there. So I think the fact that he actually has been finding a lot more out of it out of it now is something to look at. Like because that was the last mile and a half track he went to before Homestead, and now he's got that momentum. So yeah, and as for like the other playoff guys, obviously Kyle Larson had a lot of problems in Martinsville. Ryan Blaney, he was just kind of he was good. He just didn't have enough playoff points to accumulate to make it to Homestead. Is his problem. And Joey Gano, like he had a great chance to make it. Like after stage two, he and Kyle Busch were tying points. So where finished ahead of the other was going to Homestead. And Logano had a good car. It looked like he was going to do it, and then he just something happened to it. It just fell off the pace. I think he was a lap down at one point. He got passed by Denny Hamlin. He got lapped by Denny Hamlin at one point in the race late on. So that was unfortunate at the time. It was definitely like it definitely thought it looked like Logano was going to Homestead with Kyle Busch, Truex, and Harvick, but it it just was. I guess it wasn't meant to be. I think it's destiny for Denny Hamlin to go to Homestead because um, just. But okay, I didn't really talk about Kyle Larson as much. Martinsville definitely didn't go as well because that's probably his worst track in the series, in the Cup Series. Um, if you look at Texas, he did a nice job, and but and ISN too. But like Blade, they just didn't have enough. He didn't have enough flat points either. As for Hamlin, like there's something about that 11 car because I found out earlier in the week. Um, JD Gibbs used used to be the owner of the 11 car, and with his passing not too long ago, and it just feels like destiny to say that okay, Danny Hamlin has to win this championship. And there's no doubt in my mind he should be the one winning this championship. And you don't see it on here because I will put it up next week. After the championship is already said and done. But I had Danny Hamlin as my pick for a championship. It just felt like his year, and I think the fact that I think JD Gibbs is still with the 11 team right now, just kind of telling them you got this, and I think Danny Hamlin will pull it off against his first championship. He is the only one of these four in the group that does not have a championship. This championship four, he does not have a championship. Kevin Harvick, Mark Truex, and Kyle Busch, they've won it. They've won it in the last 5 6 years of the decade. So this is something that like I think Danny Hamlin needs to have on his resume to say that he's had a successful career. I mean, there was probably like an interview not too long ago, like where they said like, "Oh, you like the Mark Martin today," and Mark Martin was a great driver and just was so close to winning championship so many times and couldn't get it. And Danny Hamlin, I think, is like that. Like he's battled through some injuries. He hasn't gone and raced all the races that like he'd love to do in his career. Like he's had some injuries that have like prevented him from doing so. But I think the way Danny Hamlin has proven himself this year, this is almost as good, if not better, than his 2010 season, and he's finding a way to really, really come up big when it matters most. And this is when it matters most. He's won ISM. That was the only way he was going to get to this championship four. So that's just my saying, but this does. But some of you guys out there probably could agree with me. that Dayhound is the one that's the favorite for the title, no matter what happens. And I don't blame you if you say that because all the destiny talk and coincidental stuff and whatnot, it's real funny because someone was I saw a tweet not from like earlier this week as well saying if Dayhan wins this, it'll be his 38th Cup Series career win on the last day of his 38th birthday. That's right. So Dayhan's birthday is November 18th, if I recall correctly. November 18th, right? Yeah, I think. Yeah, November 18th, the day after Homestead. So if he is able to get his 38th Cup win on the final day that he's going to be listed as a 38-year-old driver, that just sounds absolutely crazy. But it sounds like we're witnessing fate in the making. I mean, we didn't see that with Jeff Gordon a few years ago, but I can tell you that that was something that was crazy. But this could be a fairy tale come true for Dane Hamlin, and it will be a Hall of Fame lock if this comes to fruition. Dane Hamlin's done so great over the years, and he's had some run-ins, he's had his problems, and but ultimately I respect the guy. He's as much as I like hated that he dumped Chase Elliott. Uh, well, that's what it looks like from most angles. It was I know I'm over now. It probably was incidental, but at least uh, at least it's in the past, and I think honestly, out of these four, I want to see Dingham win this because he's the only one without a championship. And if he does it, congrats to him. I'm excited to see how Homestead goes. So make sure you tune into NBC at uh, at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's when the race is going to start, and it's going to be quite the battle. I can guarantee you that. And if those four might be like running up and battling each other for the championship all race long. And not only that, they'd be racing for the race win because they're that good at the Mountain House tracks. And I don't care that it's basically three JGR cars versus a Stewart Haas racing car. It's still gonna be a great battle. And if it comes down to the three JGR cars, that's just crazy because Joe Gibbs is probably gonna be sweating bullets, thinking, how is this gonna end out? How is this gonna turn out? And just live, but for now, live the moment. If Dayhan wins this, live the moment saying, I witnessed the power of history, I witnessed fate. I witnessed fate is what you should be saying. So I know it's gonna be quite bad, and I can't wait to see how it turns out. I will talk to you all sometime in next week to look back on Homestead, and hopefully I got the championship right because that's still he's still my pick. Danny Hamlin, he was my pick to start these playoffs. If I get this right, it'll be quite an interesting turn of events, and I can't wait to see how it goes. So until then, I'll see you all, or I'll talk to you all really, and within a few days to a week, and we'll review